Hey y'all, I've gotten a whole lot of new viewers here lately, a lot of new subscribers, and I thought that there's probably a lot of people that don't really know the story of our farm and how we got to the place that we are now. And I was recently asked to come and speak to an incoming group into the North Carolina Tobacco Trust Fund Ag Leadership Program, which I'm a graduate of the 2020-2023 cohort. So earlier this week, I went to Raleigh and um, spoke to those folks and got to meet a lot of new people. Really enjoyed that opportunity. But Holly, my wife, took a video of me when I was giving this little speech, and the video and audio quality is not very good because it's taken with the front camera of an iPad, but you don't really you're not really listening to a speech for the audio quality anyway. But I thought I would put part of that up here for y'all because it's really all the details of our farm and how we got started and how we got to where we are today. I appreciate y'all watching, and I hope y'all enjoy. I am Justin Miller. I'm from what used to be a little town just the other side of Winston-Salem from here called Advance. If you call it Advance, that's a surefire way for people to find out you're an outsider. I am a graduate of the only 3-year Ag Leadership Program ever, aka the COVID Cohort. And some of my best friends in the world are people that I met during this program. I was actually at a wedding this past weekend for one of the cohort members, and there were so many of the cohort there that we took up an entire table at the reception. So it was pretty cool. I'm probably the least likely member of my cohort to be up here talking to y'all tonight. They say that a lot of people fear public speaking more than they do death, and that used to be me. 13 years ago, I sold my landscaping business, rented some farmland, and started trying to scratch out a living raising wheat and soybeans. And I didn't say corn. That's because the worn out old combine I bought didn't come with a corn header, and I couldn't afford to buy one. So I had no experience, no background, and no ag education. My high school didn't even have an FFA. To say it was a steep learning curve is kind of an understatement. Growing up, I'd help my daddy a little bit on the weekends with his small herd beef cattle, and I'd help my grandpa on my mom's side with his similar operation, and that was the extent of my agriculture background. My wife Holly, on the other hand, comes from a more diverse full-time farming operation, but it was still all livestock. So neither one of us had any idea what we were doing. About 3 seasons into our grain farming, Holly had really been wanting to be involved with the farm more, but there really wasn't anything for her to do. And she came home one day with the idea that we need to start raising strawberries. At first, I wasn't really enthused about this because I can't pick those with a combine, and I don't really like bending over all that much. But about 5 months later, we had our first crop of strawberries in the ground. We grew about 1/4 of an acre that first year, just enough for her to sell at the farmers markets and on the side of the road at the farm. And we had a similar amount of produce to keep us going to the farmers market through the season. We started going to every class that we could find through extension, trying to learn because we had no idea what we were doing. And a lot of the classes that we ended up going to were geared towards food safety. So about 2016, we kind of stumbled into getting GAP certified. And it didn't take long until we had produce brokers calling us wanting to place orders. it was kind of wild. We didn't do any marketing. People just started coming to us. When you get your GAP certification, they put your name up on the registry on the USDA website, and people can just go look you up. In 2017, we got a contract to grow winter squash for Walmart, and I thought, man, we have hit the big time now. And we had hit some big time hours. I was still working a 40-hour-a-week job in town at the time, and for the next 3 years, I'd go to work at 7, get off at 3:30, go straight to the farm, and help wash and pack the squash that Holly and the guys had picked that day. And we'd usually get wrapped up sometime around midnight. I have mixed feelings about our time growing wholesale produce, but I think the Lord was looking out for us, and He knew that we needed that cash flow because He knew what was fixing to happen that we didn't know yet. In 2018, my uncle passed away unexpectedly, and he was half owner of my family's 5th generation farmland. And Holly and I were faced with the decision, we could either buy his half or let it get put on the market. And for some reason, Farm Credit decided they'd finance it for us. I guess my loan officer's just as crazy as I am. So in 2019, we started our 3rd season of raising wholesale produce. We had 40 acres of winter squash, mostly on plastic mulch. We had 1 American and 4 H-2A workers on our payroll. And we had a fresh new farm mortgage for the icing on the cake. Everything was actually going pretty good, and we had a little bit better handle on what we were doing, starting to get things figured out. We tripled the size of our packing shed, added several new pieces of washing and packing equipment, and a cooler that would hold a semi-load. And we had gotten pretty good with pleasing the inspections department, and our crop succession was pretty decent. We didn't hardly have any gaps in production anymore. In March of 2020, I was kind of tapping my toe, waiting to get my signed contract back from my broker, and it wasn't coming. So I called Arkansas to see what was going on, and I got a hold of the lady that we've been working with from the beginning. And she got kind of choked up as she told me that logistics had gotten so tight that they weren't going to be able to backhaul for us anymore. And I got kind of sick on my stomach instantly because we put a lot of eggs in this basket. Our entire operation was built around this. She said if we wanted to continue doing what we've been doing, we were going to have to find a way to get our produce directly to the distribution center. We made a lot of phone calls trying to find trucking, but if y'all remember spring of 2020, you couldn't get anybody to haul toilet paper, much less haul for a 1-load-a-week farm into a distribution center. They knew they was going to waste half a day getting unloaded. So I started thinking, man, we built this thing in a hurry, but we're going to lose it even faster. Thankfully, I didn't have too much time to dwell on that idea because strawberry season was coming. It was a frosty spring. We spent a whole bunch of time dragging row covers on and off of strawberries. And we knew we were going to have a pretty good strawberry crop, but we didn't know quite how good it was going to be. I wish I had a picture I could show y'all. We were doing a trial on some Florida Sensation plants that year. We did like 3,000 or 4,000 plants. And I've got a picture, it's actually on our YouTube channel on the cover photo for the homepage of one of those plants. The fruit is stacked around it like cordwood. It looks like you pick a gallon off of a plant. But the only thing better than our strawberry yield that spring was our customers. The first Saturday that we started picking berries, we put it on Facebook, and within an hour, our parking lot was completely full and people were parked up and down both sides of the road. It was I was kind of freaking out because I don't like chaos too good. I want to kind of organized, and we couldn't pick berries fast enough for the people that were buying them. So I couldn't keep up with who had gotten there first. It was COVID, so it was all kind of weird. We just take the berries out there and hand them in the window and hope that they hadn't been here earlier than the people behind them. So that momentum carried us through all the way until we closed after fall. The customer base, it was crazy. I started to think, maybe I can actually make a living without selling tractor trailer loaded produce. I do kind of miss the hard squash, but we've replaced that, I guess, with about 10 acres of pumpkins that we retail and wholesale by the bin to backdoor customers, and retail quite a bit there at our farm ourselves. Since then, we've continued to grow and diversify our farm. We've added 1/4 acre of thornless blackberries and about 10,000 square foot of greenhouse space that we do finished spring annuals, all the way from little bedding packs to big mixed patio planters. And we typically do about 750 hanging baskets, and as soon as we wrap up in the spring, we plant 2,000 mums for the fall. We don't hardly get cleaned up from the spring or from the fall until it's off to the mountains to get our Christmas trees and our brush for wreaths and apples. And this is another one of those enterprises that I never saw coming. Christmas at the farm has really turned into one of our biggest seasons of the year. We shift from washing and packing produce there in our packing house to making wreaths, tying garland, and packing gift baskets. And this keeps us pretty wide open until we go back to the greenhouses in January. One of the most important lessons that I learned while in the Ag Leadership Program was about perspective. 12 years ago around this time, when I was sitting in a combine, I was thinking about building grain bins, not greenhouses. When we were barely breaking even, growing 40 acres of hard squash, I would have never in my wildest dreams thought that I could make more money with 10 acres of diverse produce. I had my sights set on a couple hundred acres of squash, thinking more is better. When we finished the addition on our packing shed, I never thought that I would be using that area for making Christmas wreaths. Don't let yourself get trapped in an echo chamber. Learning to empathize and see things from other perspectives is a skill that will take you farther than many others. Never in my wildest dreams 15 years ago would I have thought that I'd be standing up here tonight, talking to a room full of people. I wasn't a farmer then. I wasn't a greenhouse grower then. I wasn't a YouTuber or a wannabe public speaker. So I want to challenge all of you to really absorb every word and every minute of this program. You'll get as much out of it as you put into it. And it will be a completely life-changing experience if you let it. The relationships that you build are going to be lifelong. If a quiet, shy introvert like me can be encouraged to get up and talk to a room full of people, anything is possible. I am thankful for Joy for encouraging me to step out of my comfort zone and seeing something in me from her perspective that I did. Keep an open mind and never say never. Thank y'all. Hey, if y'all made it to this point in the video, I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. I am looking for other opportunities to come and speak to groups. If you have something coming up and you're looking for a speaker for a certain event, put it in the comments. Give me some context and a location, and I will get back with you on a way to get in direct contact with me. I'm working on an email just for the farm channel, but I haven't got there yet. But just drop it in the comments and I'll get back with you on a way to get in direct contact. I'm not saying that I will be able to come and speak at everything that I'm asked to, but I will try to do as much as I can. You know, my time is somewhat limited and it's pretty valuable to me. But hey, hit me up and maybe we can make it work. Appreciate y'all.